Good afternoon and welcome everybody. This is the NASCAR 1-Up Retro Cup Series, round number 27 of 40, and we're at the beautiful Emerson Fittipaldi Speedway here in Rio de Janeiro, the wonderful track in South America, our only round in South America, and the last race in our second overseas tour. And alongside me today is Ryan Caggiano for today's race. And now let me tell you about this track, because it's a doozy. There's two shallow angled corners in turns 2 and 3 that lead into more steeply angled corners in turns 1 and 4, which will lead into the long front straightaway it proceeds. So you're going to want to have high downforce to handle those high speed corners, but you also want high top speed to handle the long straights. So let me ask you this: what's going to be more important, do you think, the high downforce or the high top speed to make it through those straights?
You'll probably want to do a bit of both, but I would probably want to have the high speeds on the shallow turns to try and take over them, because if you can keep that speed maintained long enough in turns 2 and 3, just before turn 4, you should be able to get a nice, good long straightaway before turn 1 happens again.
Absolutely, because this track is very high speed. We've only got 40 laps around this track, and one pit stop is going to be a certainty in this race, so that will be an interesting key to point out when drivers will make that pit stop. I'd assume they'd want to split this race potentially in half, do the first half of the race pit, and then do the second half of the race from there, barring any yellow flags, of course, that would disrupt the action. So do you expect any big accidents in this race? Because this is a very high-speed circuit with very little room for error.
I don't want there to be any yellow flags, I'll be honest. However, I do expect from turn 3 to turn 4, it might catch some people out.
For sure, and qualifying taking place, we can give you the full starting lineup for today's race. And the 69 of Blair's put herself on pole position for the first time this season, with Justin Hutchinson lining up alongside. However, the outside lane may prove to be the superior line through turn 1 and 4, as considering the speed advantage on the outside. So Hutchinson may get a good run through there. We have two drivers making their series debuts this weekend. We've got Nicky Martinez in the 77. They will be starting in 11th position. And Daniel Bouchard in the 73 will be starting 31st. Another driver that had a surprising qualifying session is Stephen Hunter, whose miserable qualifying effort left him 39th on the grid. 39th to 40th on the grid for the points leader, Stephen Hunter. So he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to have a solid points day. It's going to be a tough day for him, because it's going to be very tough to pass here, and track position is going to be at a premium, especially with the playoffs looming ever so closer.
Yeah, we're so close to knowing who's going to make it to the playoffs, and I just can't wait for it.
And with that, the field is lined up. We're set to go racing, and we can take you to the green flag once the cars are ready to roll. Stay tuned, everyone. The race from Rio is on. Pace car's already on pit road, leaving us in the hands of the 69 and the 28, leading us towards the start-finish line on this long front straightaway. The green flag is out, and we are underway here in Rio, and it's a side-by-side battle going down the long front straightaway and heading into turn 1. It looks like the 28 may be able to nose out the 69, but they're still side-by-side going through turn 1 for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, the 69 holding on strong there, but it knows the turns. The outside lane's going to have the huge advantage. It's going to see what's going to happen later.
Yep, and Hutchinson's got a nose out on Blair, and it looks like he's going to get a better run through turns 3 and 4. He's cleared a 69 now through turns 3. They drift through turn 3, heading down into turn 4, down to about 90 miles an hour on this corner, and they head down through the turn 4 and onto the long front straightaway. And we've already got a yellow flag on the racetrack for something on this track, and there it is. Richard Herman in the 53 has gone around on lap number 1, so the caution flag has already come out, and the pace car is on track. A tough way to start this race, but expected from how this race track is expected to go. And Nick Ortiz on pit road. He was on the playoff bubble going into this race. He needed a good run, and this is not the way he wanted to start this race.
No, absolutely not. I feel sorry for Freeman right there. Ortiz doesn't need this at all right now. He needed to stay in the zone, and now his race and his chances could be over.
So we're looking at the replay. We see 3 wide in the back. We're looking at Christian Vargas right now. And let's see where this starts. I'm trying to find... Oh, there it is. Daniel Bouchard got a huge bump from the 91 of Ortiz, but it looked like it started earlier than that. Oh, it did. Andres Molina in the 23 got a big bump and spun around, and then Herman got a bump from Stephen Hunter. There's a challenge of starting in the back. These accidents like this can play a big factor in whether or not you get a clean start, and obviously for Daniel Bouchard, for Andres Molina, Stephen Hunter, Richard Herman, none of them got the start they wanted. So this is where it appears to start. Andres Molina in the 23. He's trying to slow down for the corner, but Jeffrey Finguy just went in there way too deep, and he gets tagged by Peter Onjak, then Dugantzak hits him. A bunch of cars get piled into this mess with Molina involved, and then you see Herman get spun around by Fitzwater, and then Bouchard gets piled in. It's just a big mess. But hopefully everybody can get this sorted out, and we can go back racing fairly quickly after this, because it doesn't look like too big of an incident. But it's a tough way to start the race for all drivers involved.
Yeah, it really is. And I did note that will be the trouble area. After turn 3, going into turn 4, where you have to brake all of a sudden, there will be accidents. And I wish it didn't happen so early.
And Stephen Gale on pit road. He was the driver fighting Ortiz to be on the bubble, and now both drivers are in trouble early. This could actually help the 91 stay ahead of the 52. But unfortunately for the 24, from the joys of a top 10 at Brands Hatch a week ago to now the heartache of finishing last in today's race with a blown engine on lap number 3. Tough way to end for the number 24, but they will try and rebound at Bristol.
Hopefully we'll see them back there, and we get good racing there in Bristol.
And with that, the field is lined up behind the pace car with Justin Hutchinson out in front. We will take you to the restart as soon as the cars are lined up, and the caution flag is cleared away. So we'll be right back from Rio. And with the lights out on the pace car, we are ready to go racing again with Justin Hutchinson out in front with Blair in the 69 second. Eric Monaco in his second ever start is running in third. Casey Bender fourth. And Alexa Lutchen rounds out the top 5. She has had some rough races as of late, so hopefully she can get the ship righted with at least a top 5 run here where she's running right now. But now, Justin Hutchinson is going to lead us through turn 4, and once the pace car pulls off, we're ready to get this race restarted.
Yeah, I mean, it's really upsetting. You already had an incident on lap 1, but hopefully they've learned what happens, and they'll keep the turn 4 a bit more mindful.
And the lights are down, the flag is down. We are back racing in Brazil on lap number 6, and we'll see if Blair can get a good run on Hutchinson going into 1, but it appears Hutchinson will have the preferred outside groove going into turn 1. Got to steer clear of those tire walls, but if you can cross down to the bottom, as these drivers have done, you'll be able to make it a solid turn 1 and through turn 2 onto the backstretch.
Yeah, and this is where you get a lot of speed, and then you get into turn 3, and then you have the problem area of turn 4 and that sharp left-hand turn.
Hopefully, with this being a single-file restart, these cars will be able to handle it a little better, and it looks like so far everybody's turning fairly steadily through the corner, and coming on to turn 4, we'll be able to complete a solid green flag lap for the first time all day, and as we complete lap number 6, the caution is yet to come out, so we are still green. Justin Hutchinson with a solid lead over Blair and Monaco in third.
Yeah, I mean, great driving by the 28 there, showing us what he's made of. It's been a while since we've seen him up these parts, but it's good to see him back here.
Got 2 wins early in the season on tracks like this, high speed, but those were high bank tracks at Auto Club and at Las Vegas. However, this track has little to no banking in the corners at all. So this is a bit different from what Justin Hutchinson's used to, but he's proving that it's not phasing him at all as he's leading the charge in his 28 Ford, and coming off the corner, he's going to lead lap number 7. He's been out front every lap so far.
Yeah, I mean, ever since he did that ride overtake in lap 1 over Blair, he's just been steady and holding on, and it feels like he's in control.
Looking back for the rest of the top 10, you see a battle between Miles Mashburn in the 72, Jack Halleck in the 4, J.D. Martin, and there's Nicky Martinez in the 77. They're having a solid run in their series debut. In 12th position right now, they got overtaken by Martin on the start and have stayed there ever since. But they've got challenge from Lane Sanders behind in 13th. But it looks like they're going to pose a challenge to J.D. Martin, who's solidly up in the top 3 in points. So a solid run from all drivers involved as we go back up front to see the lead. And this draft effect down the front straightaway is going to be a big factor in who can get a good run through this field.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to need the help of your driver in front of you to try and, help you out in getting other positions, but it's a very tight race.
And we've got some side-by-side battling here with Brandon Beal in the 37 alongside the 30, and alongside him is Ben McDonnell in the 12, who had a solid run at Brands Hatch, hoping to rebound from that with another solid outing here, with Ethan Zanstra hot on their heels. And coming back up to the field, you see Bobo Jones for a brief bit, Christian Vargas, Lane Sanders, Nicky Martinez, and now the rest of the field back up through Justin Hutchinson, the race leaders. We head down the front straightaway. We're about quarter of the way through this race already. Time really flies when you're having a good time at Rio.
Oh, especially in the lovely sun here, beautiful beaches. I mean, it's been a great time here in Rio, and hopefully this race can keep on going and going, but unfortunately, sooner or later, it has to end.
And that is in 30 laps time, in which point Justin Hutchinson may or may not keep the lead. We'll see what happens once pit stop cycle through around halfway point in this race. But as of right now, he's got a pretty solid lead, and I wouldn't put it past him to hang on to this lead even through pit stops. He's a very capable driver, and he wants to join Stephen Hunter on the list of drivers who have won 3 races this season. He's got 2 already. 3 would put him on a pedestal with only him and Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, he was during the pits. He was a bit upset that Hunter got the first. I was like, he had 2 wins already, but he wants to try and show up that he is still part of the top elite drivers, and winning this will prove that.
Santiago Alvarez in the 98 having a solid run in 9th position. He missed the field at Brands Hatch, so this is a good chance to rebound from a dismal outing in England with a solid performance in Brazil, and he's closing in on the back of the 75 for 8th position, so that may see a change of position there, but he can't be too comfortable because Miles Mashburn is right there behind him. And if I know anything about Miles Mashburn, he will do anything to make a pass, as we saw at Chicagoland where he got his one and only win.
Yeah, I mean, Mashburn, he's been living on that high ever since, and he wants to try and relive that. And slowly he wants to try and get a win back, so hopefully he can.
And Justin Hutchinson continues to lead this race on lap number 12. We're past quarter distance in this race already, and Hutchinson's been out front every lap so far, ahead of the Chevrolets of Blair and Monaco in 3rd. Eric Monaco is showing a lot of promise. He had a bit of a average performance in Brands Hatch, where he made his debut, but he's doing very well here, running in 3rd position in the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, and he's putting together a solid performance. He could be a dark horse here to take his first win in just his 2nd series start.
Yeah, I mean, everyone loves the underdog story, especially love the newbie story, and the 83 is really showing out here today. Hopefully they can get a good pass on Blair and the 28, but it's still very early to come, and you never know when it's going to hold.
Exactly, because we're only at lap 13 in this race, and with Eric Monaco lurking in 3rd, Casey Bender lurking in 4th, the top 5 all within a second of each other. This could be a very interesting battle as the cars single file their way through turns 2 down the long back straightaway and make the move down towards turn 3, and as you can feel the speed of these cars as they roar down this long forgotten speedway and into turn 4 for the 13th time. Justin Hutchinson's led wire to wire so far.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, he's just been driving fantastically this race, showing us why he was the first 2-time winner and why he deserved to still be part of the elite squad of where Hunter belongs into.
And he definitely wants to join Hunter on that list of 3-time winners this season. And with Justin Hutchinson out front right now, he's definitely in contention for the most laps led this season. He's led a lot of laps already this season. We'll see if he can take that award away. Right now, he's got a pretty solid lead over Blair and Monaco as we head into turn 4. This could be very interesting, though, once pit stops cycle through. We're about 8 laps away from scheduled pit stops, so it'll be interesting to see who can get the jump on who coming down pit road.
Yeah, it's about, when that happens, it's all about how good your pit crew is then. and how fast they can go. And that's the real sign. We saw Ortiz did change his tires at when that crash happened. Can he be able to catch up with them? I'm not certain though. That's the thing.
It appears the 91 is actually down a cylinder. That's why he pitted the first time. So he's going to have a very long road ahead of him to try and get back to the front. As we take a look through the field, Miles Mashburn in 10th, Jack Halleck in 11th. Ortiz has a bit of a high road to get through, but he's soldiering on in last, with Lane Sanders in 13th position, just behind Nicky Martinez and just ahead of Jeffrey Finguy, the Martinsville winner. Cal Farrell is in the top 15 as well. He's having a solid run in the Netflix Dodge. And a bit of an interesting story with Farrell, because he almost won at Kansas, remember? But he had a fuel problem on the final lap. As now we've got a side-by-side battle between the Brands Hatch winner, Jeff Bolton, and the Daytona 500 winner, Bobo Jones. They're side-by-side going into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, you love to see that happen, and it looks like Bobo might be able to get a hold on him.
And it looks like he will. And Jake McMillan, another two-time winner this season at Charlotte and Watkins Glen, is putting together a solid run here. But he's going to have two side-by-side cars ahead of it. Oh, Jones slid a long way going into turn 3. That was almost a spin. I'm amazed at how well he saved that. But as we look back through the rest of the field, Jordan Presto, Jack Porkins in the 16, sliding back just a little bit. He's having a pretty solid day. Caden Atkins as well. He missed a few races. Ryan Soper's missed a few races, but he's doing well here. Peter Onjak's doing all right in the 70 car. Ethan Zanstra in the 15. Brandon Beal in the 37. The 30 and the 12 are battling for position behind Brandon Beal. There are battles all up through this field, and we're just going through them all right now just to see where your favorite driver is running in this race. Chris Maley's doing well in the 44. Zachary Fitzwater right behind him, who's moved into the top 30 in points for the first time this season. So a good run from the 59. Kevin Carter running near the back of the field ahead of points leader Stephen Hunter, who really needs a good run to lock himself into the playoffs here. He's not having it so far, but hopefully his luck can turn around. Midway through this race, Ricky Freeman Jr. is back there. Arthur Xavier, Daniel Bouchard's having a solid debut race in the late 30s. Richard Herman right behind him. Stephen Gale, Andres Molina, and then Nick Ortiz, who is down a cylinder and well off the pace. And now we're back to Justin Hutchinson as the leader with 40 cars still in this race. The 3 of Duke Anzac blew an engine as well while we were going through the field, and he is now out of this race, as well as the 24 of Ace, but we've still got a solid battle for the lead between Blair and Hutchinson for the lead.
Yeah, and talking about that broken cylinder because that he's going to be a lot slower, and the 28 is slowly going to be catching him, and we got to also factor that in sooner or later. How that slow car will be slowing the crew down, and that could give Blair Monaco a huge opportunity to take the lead there.
Absolutely. You've got a side-by-side battle here for position. Martinez around the inside of Jack Halleck. That's for 11th. And at the same time, Miles Mashburn is going to try and make a move on the 75. That's for 9th. But Halleck's holding strong on the outside of Martinez. They're going to go side-by-side into turn 3. We've seen that have bad results before, but man, these cars have such good downforce. Mashburn is passed for 9th place. The 75 is going to drift back to 10th, and he's probably going to be able to hold off Martinez there for 10th position. And it looks like Martinez will actually clear Jack Halleck, so they're still going to be battling side-by-side back there for that position. But right now, it appears Martinez has it, but don't look now because there are 4 cars behind this battle that would love to take that spot away.
And the other thing as well, we've just hit the halfway mark. Teams are going to be considering when is my buddy next to me going to pit? Is the guy behind me going to pit? This is where wheel strategy now comes to real play now.
Exactly, because with the undercut not being as much of a factor here as it is on the road courses, but it's still a good strategy to employ if you are struggling behind your opponent and want to get a jump on them in the pits. You will be able to do that, as now the 91 of Nick Ortiz is being lapped by Justin Hutchinson and the 69 of Blair and the 83 of Monaco. He's hanging in there all right in the corners. It's just the straightaways that are really killing his momentum. And he's a full... as you look at the fastest lap board, his fastest lap is 3 seconds slower than any of the top runners. So this is gonna be a miserable race for Nick Ortiz as he tries to hang in there. But as a driver who has experienced this before, I can tell you it's never fun to be down a cylinder on a high-speed track like this.
No, it's not, but you want to try and keep that car going as much as possible. Because other cars may have engine problems, you might be able to move up in rank and placings. So you just keep the car going as long as you can. Don't give up.
Just stay out of trouble is what the mentality is for Nick Ortiz now, as he gets passed by Henry Thomas, he gets passed by King in the 18, and he's going to try and hang in there ahead of Santiago Alvarez, but that momentum is just really hurting him as he goes through the corners. This is going to be a long day for him as he tries desperately to hang on to a top 12 spot in the points. As we're now through lap 22, as Blair draws a bead on Justin Hutchinson for position, and the question is, when will these cars come in? It's about that time when they would be heading down pit road, and it looks as though Hutchinson will be heading for pit road this time. Yes, there he goes. Justin Hutchinson peels off to pit, along with Eric Monaco and a few others. Actually, no, Monaco stayed out. Alexa Lutchin's the next car to pit, so Thomas, Bouchard is in the pits, Molina's in the pits, but Blair and Monaco have stayed on the racetrack. They will lead lap 23.
Yeah, the first change ever since he took the lead off of Blair, and Blair's finally got it back ever since the qualifiers. So,
and she's got the lead now from pole position. This is the first time she's led all day, but she's got to come to pit road soon because that undercut, she needed the pit before Hutchinson, and now that she can't do that, she's got to have a very solid execution on pit road to try and make up the time lost on the pit stops, and here she comes. Blair's pitting along with Eric Monaco and Casey Bender as all the rest of the cars cycle down pit road. This is going to be a long stop cycle. Nick Ortiz is going to stay out a little longer to hope for a caution to get back on the lead lap. But this is a very wide pit road, so you're not going to see many accidents there. But we're looking at Justin Hutchinson now. He has cycled out in 6th position. That will probably update itself as soon as the rest of the cars pit. But the question is, will he stay ahead of Blair in the 69 to take the lead of this race back? He pitted a lap earlier, which would normally be a good thing, but it's all about pit road execution, and if the 69 team does a little bit better, she might take the lead back.
Yeah, it's all about where that positioning is and where everyone is now, and how well your pit crew is. That's all that really matters now.
Cycling out of the pits, you can see the 69 and the 83 are ahead of Justin Hutchinson. So Blair actually managed to take the lead through pit stops, and she now holds the lead over Eric Monaco in 2nd place, ahead of Justin Hutchinson, who slipped back to 3rd. So interesting that the overcut actually was the strategy to go with, as the 2 cars that stayed out a lap longer were the cars that managed to take the lead coming out of the pits.
Yeah, I mean, good driving by 69-83, doing fantastic for their second run ever. Second place is always a good thing.
We still got 16 laps left, though, and anything can happen. But Hutchinson's basically pushing Monaco down the front straightaway, trying to get a run, because, of course, their tires are a lap fresher than Justin Hutchinson's, although Hutchinson's have been up to temperature a little bit longer than the 2 ahead of him, so he's got a little bit of an advantage there. Once all their tires come up to temperature, I would expect the 69 and 83 to have the advantage going into the later stages of this race.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But right now, Hutchinson's just trying to make a move as fast as possible to get in front of everyone to try and hold on. That's all he can do now.
He's now the hunter instead of the hunted. He's been all race long, but he knows how to pass. He did that at Auto Club when he got his first win of the season, and he knows how to do it. But the problem is, passing at this track is a lot tougher than it was at Auto Club in race number 2 of the season, all that time ago in the early stages of the season. We're now closing in on the playoff time, and now all drivers involved are going to have to be on their toes and looking forward to the playoffs, because any bad race from here on out could seriously diminish your chances of making it in.
Yeah, and you always want to be part of that playoff ship, because that means you know that you still have a chance, you still have a shot to be the champ. Doesn't matter how well you do in the main season, it's only matters at the end in playoffs.
Need to be in a good position with a lot of wins to cement yourself into a good position. Stephen Hunter's got that, even though he's suffering a little bit in this race. He's still in very solid position to make the playoffs, and I believe he's already locked himself a place in the playoffs due to his performances so far. So congratulations to him for being the first driver to lock himself in. And right now, it appears Eric Monaco might be taking a peek on the inside of Blair. This could be an interesting battle for the lead if he gets there.
Yeah, he's looking inside. He wants to try and take it, and looks like they're going side by side right now.
It does, but Monaco slides going in the 3. He lost all that momentum he'd been building, and that allows Blair to build a significant lead back over him. And that's not what he needed to happen. He needed to have solid traction going through that corner, and he just couldn't get it. But he still got plenty of time to make that move, as right now the gap between them is only about 1/10 of a second. So these cars are going really fast for this racetrack, and it's any mistake by the top 3 could draw Alexa Lutchen and King into this battle as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing that they're starting to think of in their mind. They don't want that to happen. They want to keep it just to themselves. Because would you rather be from 1st to 5th or 1st to 3rd?
Exactly. Because with Alexa Lutchen closing in on this battle, it's going to be a 4-car battle for the top spot with Blair, Monaco, Hutchinson, and now Alexa Lutchen's closing in on the back of the 28. This will be a 4-car battle. 2 Chevrolets and 2 Fords battling it out for the race win here in Rio, and we're approaching 12 laps to go in this race right now. And Monaco is building a charge on Blair, but he's got to get to her outside. That's the key. The outside lane is actually the way you want to go around this track.
Yeah, even though it might be a bit longer, it gives you the maintain of the speed, and that's what you really need in this track.
And that being said, Monaco's going to try and make a run to her inside. It's probably not going to work, though. And they slide through turn 3, going through turn 4 now, and Blair's still maintaining a solid lead of 0.2 of a second. But this is by no means over. There are still 4 cars in this that have a shot at winning this race. And a late caution flag could shuffle this field up incredibly with pit stops or with attrition or anything, really. As we approach the 3/4 distance of this race, we've got 11 laps to go, and Blair holds a solid lead out front.
Yeah, I mean, good driving from Blair, being the qualifying leader and had great pit stop strategy. She deserves to be in the front right now, but Monaco's just sniffing, waiting to have a taste of first place.
Absolutely. He's only been in this series for a short time, but he's already seen a taste of the lead, and he wants it now. He slides through the corner behind the 69, going through turn 4 for the 30th time. We're approaching 10 laps to go in this race, and now it is crunch time to try and get a lasting advantage over the field. As we approach the latter stages of this race, anything can happen, but especially to these front-running cars, you need to have patience, especially with this few laps left.
Yeah, you need to time your move perfectly. You need to make sure and pounce on any mistake the car in front of you gives. Any little tight turn, any little slight movement, you pounce on it and you attack it.
And with the 69 holding a fairly commanding lead over Eric Monaco, but remember, there are 4 cars still in this race, and they're all forming a big train behind Blair, who is actually not the fastest car in the track right now. That's the 98 of Alvarez in 7th. So he's gaining ground, but it might be a bit too little too late as we go through the later stages of this race, because he is about 6 seconds off the lead as we now go on board with Eric Monaco for a lap or 2 around this wonderful speedway in Brazil. And tell us, what are you seeing as Blair makes the corner very late with Monaco hot on her heels?
Blair's basically just trying to hold him in place and not give him any sort of movement, just blocking anywhere he can go. So great driving from Blair, but Monaco needs to make a move sooner or later to try and get the first place.
And going through turn 3 is going to be a great spot to do it, but he's just too far behind to make it happen. But right now, Blair's leaving the bottom open because she knows it's the weaker line around this track. As they come off of turn 4, we're approaching the final few laps of this race, and anything can happen here as the field makes its way past the start-finish straight once more.
Yeah, I mean, Monaco... listen, I'm going to get props to Monaco. He's been doing a great driving. Yes, he's coming second, Yes, it's the first
Oh, there's trouble up ahead of him. There's trouble up ahead of him. Please get clear of it, Eric Monaco. Oh, no!
Oh!
Oh! A heavy crash for the second place car, Eric Monaco. And just like that, his race is over. Alexa Lutchen is out. Justin Hutchinson is out. The top four have all been involved in a horrific crash in turn 2. And the race has just changed in an instant.
What the heck did I just see there? How the hell? We were just talking about how he was doing a great race from a second start, and now it's just gone. The whole top 4 gone. Oh my lord.
Blair actually managed to sneak her way through that somehow, so she is still the leader. But man, oh man, everyone else behind her. Just, man, what in the world happened to cause this?
I cannot pronounce the words to understand what just happened.
Look at all the cars involved. Look at Jeff Bolton is out of the race. Last week's winner, Bobo Jones is involved. Of course, Monaco, Lutchen, and Hutchinson are all involved. Cal Farrell got some damage, and that Daniel Bouchard has damage. Cal Farrell, of course, has damage. J.D. Martin's got some damage as well. And man, oh man, Nick Ortiz got a piece of it as well, and his pursuit of a playoff bid is throwing a bit of a wrench into that. Jack Porkins has damage. Ben McDonnell has damage. Man, oh man, oh man. So you see Jack Porkins going for turns 1 and 2. I'm trying to see where... Oh, that's where it started. Kevin Carter lost the motor on his car and backed up the entire field behind him. And then Bobo Jones slams into the back of them. Christian Vargas gets a piece. Ben McDonnell gets piled in. And then the leaders just have no idea what... Blair sneaks by, but man... Oh! Look at that damage for Justin Hutchinson, who lands on his roof. Eric Monaco's done for the day.
I feel so bad for the engine failure, don't get me wrong. But when you're at that high speed and you hit that so hard, the amount of damage, not only to your car, but to yourself, is the most scary thing.
75 and the 4 managed to sneak through, and then Porkins and Bolton had to slow to a crawl to get around this, and then Jones just has no idea. Maybe he got slipped up in the oil, dropped by the 71, but now it's just a matter of time before Porkins... Oh, yeah, right there. Monaco went flying there for a little while. That was a very heavy impact for both the 83 and the 28. Looking with Hutchinson now, he just piles in, and Lutchen runs driver's side into him. Man, that was a heavy impact. I really hope they're all right, because that was a very severe accident here at Rio. And now we are on board with Justin Hutchinson in the 28. This is going to be a wild ride. Going through turn 1 and coming across turn 2. You can see the accident beginning up ahead, and there's just nowhere for them to go. Blair somehow sneaks through, but right there, Monaco and Hutchinson get plowed in, and just like that, Justin Hutchinson's race in Rio is over on lap 33. And with that, the field has been shuffled up completely aside from the race lead, which Blair still holds. She somehow managed to survive that crash with only minor right side damage to her car. King in the 18 has worked his way up to second. Nicky Martinez in the 77 has managed to make their way into the third position, with J.D. Martin up to fourth. I don't know if his damage is severe or not, but he's still on track, and he's still in fourth position. Peter Onjak, you see in the 70, is a lap down, but look at all the cars that are out of this race. The 50's out, the 83 to 28. Look at them all. Miles Mashburn's out, Andres Molina's out, Cal Farrell's out, Santiago Alvarez, who we just talked about posting the fastest lap, he's out of the race. Man, oh man, this is a crash of Brooklyn-style proportions.
And it wasn't because of the track itself, it was all because of slowing down in the pack and engine failure. That was the only real main reason.
Well, oil dropped on the track. There really wasn't much Monaco, Hutchinson, or Lutchen could do. There's just no way to avoid that. I don't know how Blair managed to avoid that, but that alone should give her driver of the day, based on that incredible drive to finish this race. The lights are out on the pace car, so we've got one to go until the restart, but we've got a very shuffled up field. We've got Blair, King, Martinez, Martin. That's your top 4. Henry Thomas is up to 5th. Casey Bender 6th. Jeffrey Finguy 7th. Jordan Presto, Caden Atkins, and Lane Sanders round out your top 10 in a very chaotic final few laps in Rio. I wouldn't have expected this top 10 about 5 laps ago, but man, how times can change.
Yeah, exactly. I'm scared if it's gonna happen again. That's what I'm in the back of my mind after that. I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna happen again. I don't want it to happen again.
We've only got 3 laps to go in this race when they take the restart, so all Blair has to do is hold off King and the rest of the field for 3 laps, and if she can do that, her first win is secure. But she's got a very hungry driver behind her because King, in the 18, second in points with no wins, has been lamenting that throughout the season, and he really wants a win to complement his very high points position. And he should get one. He's been very fast all season long, and this is probably one of his best chances to get one. So hopefully he can manage to pull it off. But look at all the cars that are out of this race. It's impressive, actually, that we've got this many cars remaining in this race as we come to the restart with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised this many are still alive after that horrific wreck. But also, don't forget, Blair has a little bit of side damage. So Fitzwater could still maybe do something there. And that's the scary thing.
And with King right behind her, it could be a very interesting battle as the restart gets underway, and Blair gets a very good jump on King in the 18. She pulls out to a very handy lead. And Peter Onjak, the lap car, is going to be holding up the rest of the field, so it looks like it's going to be a battle between the 69 and the 18 for victory here in Rio. And it's going to come down to the final lap to determine the winner of this race after a very scary crash that has shuffled up the outcome of this race in a big way.
I mean, it's shuffled the pack up, most definitely. It's shuffled up, I think, majority of the drivers indefinitely. Who knows what the points are going to look like? Who knows what the player form is going to look like? Who knows what injuries might occur after this race because of all that, of all the accidents.
Reports from the Infield Care Center say they are alert and alright, which is very good news to hear as we take 2 laps to go in this race, because those were some very scary incidents. They might be a little sore for a little while, but otherwise they'll be good to go come Bristol, which is very good to hear, and we'll hope to see them in fighting shape at Bristol again soon. However, this battle for the win is very much still alive, with Blair and King duking it out, one after the other, trying both to get their first career win. They're coming to the white flag this time, and hopefully one of them will manage to secure victory for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, King has been a great performer, and second place, he's in the top scores. He knows that he can be potentially a champion, and winning this will prove to himself that he is one.
Final lap here at Rio. Blair's holding a solid lead, and no one else is in contention other than this 18 car. He really needs to get to her outside and really needs a good run going into turn 3 if he's going to have any shot at all. He's going through turn 2 now, and coming out of turn 2, it's going to be a really long drag down to turn 3. He's got to hope for a big draft here coming through, and Blair's trying to defend the position all she can, going through turn 3 for the final time, through turn 4. No challengers to speak of, and it looks like we're going to have another first-time winner in the 1-Up Retro Cup Series, and it's been a long time coming for Blair in the 69, but off of turn 4 for the final time. She's going to do it. She's going to hold off King, and Blair is going to win the Rio 400 here in Brazil with an outstanding performance and insane luck to dodge that wreck. She got the best of both worlds today.
Yeah, she beat her rivals into the pits, and then she survived the giant crash in the mid-30s, and that's what got her the victory today.
King will be agonizing over this when he was so close, but he'll have to settle for second place. Nicky Martinez with a solid debut race in third place. J.D. Martin having a good top 5 run in fourth, ahead of Casey Bender. Jeffrey Fingeil takes 6th, ahead of Jordan Presto, Caden Atkins, Henry Thomas, and Jake McMillan rounding out the top 10. This has been an interesting race, for sure, and I hope we'll be able to come back here sometime soon, because this is a very fun track with a lot of character, and definitely a track that we should be coming back to every season if we're given the chance, because man, what a race it was.
Yeah, it's been a very fun race, this track here. The high turns and the shallow turns, it's always been a lot of fun. I hope we come back next season.
And with that, the series heads back stateside for race number 28 at Bristol. It'll be a very fun race to behold, and I hope you'll join us for that race as well, for the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol. So, with that being said, our biggest congratulations to Blair in the 69. Her first win comes in the resort of Brazil. Congratulations.